Okay, we're here with one Miss Layla of the Curious Girl Diaries. Layla, how are you today?
I am doing well, thanks.
Well, listen, I listen to your podcast and I really enjoy it. I think it's just uncut, raw, and I think a lot of amazing topics. So again, I'm grateful for you to be on here.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be on. I just can't wait to see what you're going to ask me. I love it when I don't. I love it when I don't know what's coming. That's the fun stuff.
And I don't know what's coming either. Honestly, I have no clue what
Okay.
I'm going to say. I just let it kind of roll. I just like it just to be as real as possible
All
with it,
right.
you
Well,
know?
let's go for it.
Let's do it. So, I came across your profile on one of the sites that kind of like search for guests or people send me stuff. And I was like, oh, this is interesting to me. Your journey from essentially kind of a, what, 3.5 years of no sex to like, hey, what the hell? I need to do something about this.
Yes.
So take us back before you really went on this kind of sexual adventure. And what was life like for you?
But let's see. Rolling the clock back before I was the curious girl.
Yes.
Life was very much, a type A who ran her own business, had been doing that for most of her life. I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. So, very much a go-getter, just kind of like get it done, make it happen. And along the and I and business was always sort of my first love, I would say, and my passion. And what I did before, I always referred to that as that was like my porn. Like I just had to look at it. I mean, I just loved it. Like I loved it so much. You'd sit in front of your computer late at night working because it turned you on so much. And,
Yeah.
and I got a lot out of it. I felt like I was getting a lot out of it. But over the years, I sort of pushed relationships and other people aside because I was just so determined to make my mark in what I was doing. And, I had sort of forsaken some areas of my life. And then I just really kind of woke up one day and took a look around me and said, what am I doing? This is crazy. I've completely shut off the intimate parts and sides of myself. I'm a woman, I'm good looking, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm attractive,
Yes.
I'm vivacious, and why am I living like a shrew?
Right.
I have all these success in all these areas of my life, except my personal life and just even especially even my sexual life. So I've just got really interested in making that a priority. And I shifted gears rather quickly. And what I did was I took the skill set that I knew from business and applied that to my sex life and attacked it from that angle. And I got some pretty great results.
She attacks sex like business.
Well, I just figured you have business systems, things that work, what you can apply them in other areas. And just if you want maximum effectiveness and
Yeah.
efficiency, I'm like, okay, I got to run this thing like a well-oiled machine. So that's kind of that's how I approached it in the beginning. Yeah.
So let's go deeper into the
Okay.
actual business machine of sex and how
Yeah.
that started for you. You made this decision, you say went pretty quickly. What
Yeah.
was the beginning? What was the genesis of Curious Girl?
I think I had spent a lot of times just with my friends and realizing how, noticing the intimacy between them, that, they're married friends and things like that. And I just said, okay, I am wasting the pretty. I've got to stop that. And I literally, no joke, within I think it was a 3-day weekend. It was some holiday weekend
Mm-hmm.
around, around this time, roughly, I guess 5 years ago. Yeah. Or
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. Yeah. It's been 5.5 years. Anyway. And I said, that's it. And I scoured the internet. I found some, I guess what you call them hookup sites.
Mm-hmm.
So not necessarily, so we're not talking like, uh, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank here. What's the, what, like match, not, we're not talking
Match.com. Yeah.
match.com. This isn't
No, no.
match.com.
This
This
is
is,
no, this is no night. See, I got with my wife from Match.com, but this isn't that. This was a hookup.
yeah, this is hookup sites, where you go
Yeah.
and I mean, I would say that's a little crass, but I look for friends with benefits. That's what I like to call it. Just
Uh-huh.
where, you have an actual, like, I have to find something redeeming about you if you're going to stick your penis in me. I mean,
Right.
it's not like cavemen on the streets, like, hey, yeah, you, okay, come on,
Come
let's go.
here. Let's
Yeah,
go.
right. You're just jumping in cars or bushes and,
Yeah.
going for it. So, but what I did was I got on there and I just very quickly said, okay, I know this is just like a sales cycle. It's like a system. You've got to, boom, 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 boom. And I would line up. I would just, the beautiful thing about it is getting on these hookup sites as a woman, it's pretty easy. Put up a decent profile and boom, your inbox is going to be flooded.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just, go through and, okay, who am I interested in? Tried to have a profile that pretty much kind of eliminated what I wasn't looking for, mentioned what I was looking for, and then started just meeting with guys. I have like, I want to talk to them on the phone, hear their voice. I want to go and meet them in a public place for the first time and just
Yeah.
make sure that they're not creepers or, that I have that first, and there's an attraction, I'm going to have to have a spark. There has to be some chemistry. I want it to be fun and exciting. And ultimately I do want a friends with benefit scenario. So, it's just that we're not obligated to each other, but when we get together, we have fun. We'll go and do stuff. We'll have a good time, but it's casual. And, so I just started meeting guys, and some days I was very vivacious about it. I would meet somebody for coffee, meet somebody for lunch, and then meet somebody for like early drink. Like I could pack 3 people in one day just to meet. I call that the meet and greet, where I'm like, chemistry, yes or no, chemistry, yes or no, okay, you're off, you're on. And then from there, then you set up like the next meeting. But the first guy that I met was absolutely perfect. He really understood, what I needed and kind of handled me, I would say, very well to help me over the hump that first time, because it had been a while and you feel a little nervous, like, oh my gosh, do I still have it? Is this even still a part of me? You start to sort of write off those parts of you thinking, well, maybe I'm just not that sexual. Maybe relationships aren't for me. You play all these tricks on yourself. And so I, met him. He was very handsome, attractive, attorney, type A like me. We had a lot of chemistry, a lot of back and forth. Honestly, he was probably the perfect guy to be the one to sort of repop my cherry, I guess if you want to call it. That's what it felt like. I felt like I was nervous, I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm having sex again for the first time.
I can't believe this.
I know. Well, yeah, like I haven't never, like, it's like, oh my God, I've never done this before. Anyway, so we, he got a hotel room. He had like candles and music playlists. We went out to dinner. It was very thoughtful. And then, and we actually went on to see each other for a while, and it was very fun. We traveled to places and so then from there, it just, I had lined it up where though I didn't want, I wanted to be just seeing kind of multiple partners and exploring. And I had a sex bucket list and things I wanted to scratch off. So I made my, my first year sex bucket list, which has been obviously updated several times since then.
What was on that initial list?
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. You're making me rack my brain here. What was on the initial list? Like, well, one thing I'll tell you here's one thing that I haven't crossed off still 5.5 years later. I'm almost ashamed of it, but I talk about it so that I figure the more you're honest about it, then I'll finally do it, is threesomes.
Oh, okay.
I've never, for all the crazy stuff I've done up to this point now, I've never done a threesome, and I still want to do that. So that's, my new mountain to tackle. But, let's see. I think, what did I want to do? I wanted to go to a sex party. I wanted to try BDSM. And what were the other things? I think get more aggressive and better at blowjobs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, now I'm trying to it feels like so long ago. I feel like that was my vanilla sex list because it was like my first one. it was when I was not so adventurous. I really thought that the Curious Girl Diaries would be me going out. I had this initial sex bucket list. I would knock stuff off,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, I would shut it down and go back to my vanilla life. I
Oh,
didn't realize what I was becoming or how it would change me moving forward. So yeah. And here I am, I just every year I kept saying, I'm only going to do this for a year. And then it was
yeah.
like, okay, well, I'll do it one more year. And because it caught on and people started to listen, and then I was getting feedback. And
Yeah.
I started because I started a podcast to document what I was doing. It was really more for myself.
Right.
And then people started listening and reaching out to me, and I was just like, the first time, I don't know if you remember the first time you looked at your stats and you saw
Yeah.
like, people are downloading
People
me.
are
Who
listening
are
to
these?
this.
Who are
Yeah.
these people? Where are they coming from? Because I wasn't
Yeah.
advertising, I just was really
Right.
more so, it was really for myself, just like, I'm using myself to socially experiment on, and then I'm
Yeah.
gonna just sort of be like, oh yeah, I did that, and I had it all on audio, and it'll be a fun thing to sort of look back on how fun I was back in the day.
You mentioned about like, becoming more aggressive or more adventurous. Take me through a little bit about that first sexual experience, the person you were then versus the person you were becoming or became sexually after that.
Well, I did not know, because I considered myself very, just, type A, and I am woman, hear me roar. And
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that I had a submissive side. I actually didn't
Oh,
know that that's really what I needed from a relationship, and sort of the lane that I was best in relationships. It had never, through all my regular just boyfriend, girlfriend, relationships, never dawned on me the reason why some guys I was super hot for, and
mm-hmm.
we had this passion and chemistry, was when I was more in the submissive role. And then the ones that weren't, where I couldn't figure out, like, gosh, this guy is so great on paper, like he checks all the boxes, but he wants to get married and all this stuff. But I can't, why am I not feeling it too? Why don't I reciprocate? And what I realized is I need a dominant man.
Mm.
That really turns me on. That gets me off sexually. It gets me off mentally. It's my best fit in a relationship where, he's the dominant and I'm the submissive.
Explain that further, like maybe examples of dominance and submissive.
Well, maybe I can best describe it by telling you sort of, what first of all, what it's not. It's
Mm-hmm.
not probably the stuff you see in mainstream media. It's not kind of the 50 Shades of Grey
Right.
example. It's not a man being disrespectful to you, or, trying to push some woman back into the dark ages, like, hey, get in the kitchen and
Right.
cook and make babies. It's about understanding and knowing who does what and what roles you do, and how that masculine energy really, really feeds and promotes the best things about your female energy. And so I like it when a man is watching out for me. He's thoughtful. He's asking about my day. He's guiding, sort of always kind of there guiding me, being, I guess, if for lack of a better word, the leader in it, kind of
Mm-hmm.
in and outside of the bedroom.
Right.
Then, and that's about, that, and that takes a lot of communication, and that type of high level communication, and always discussing what the other person needs, and understanding where the other person's coming from, where you're coming from. I never had that sort of demanded of me. Like, you have to communicate really, really well.
Right.
And it just took my relationship to a whole nother level. Now, then let's go into the bedroom, because that's really what people are more interested about. The kink part, that's where it gets crazy. And that's
Mm.
where, again, there's a lot of I think, misnomers about the kink side of it, the BDSM, because there is so much under that umbrella.
Yes.
And there's no specific standard. It's really, as far as the kink goes, it's just really about it's up to what two consenting adults agree on. So I like, and it's not that you're doing this all the time, because it's just like regular relationships. You're not in that role all the time.
Right.
You're not always doing the same thing in the bedroom. And so same thing with, BDSM. Sometimes it is a big scene. I mean, there's bondage, there's, a lot of toys, whatever you like,
Yeah.
nipples pinched, I mean, I don't know how explicit you want me to be.
I told you before I
Yeah.
told the listeners, I told her beforehand, say whatever you want, be as explicit as you want.
Yeah. So then there's then you can be totally tied up and you can have a total, bondage scene, a lot of spanking, choking, rough sex. But then there's also a lot of very close, intimate connectivity that's going on, because you have to know each other so well and each other's bodies so well. And, you may have a safe word involved depending on how far you're going in that specific session. And then at other times you're just having plain old regular, sex, but I'm telling you, add a little kink in there and it just takes it up like 5 notches. So it could be just like, it's interesting. I found in that type of dynamic with somebody, you're always on for each other. It's just like, there's that passion and that spark and that chemistry. Usually, normally I would have that in a relationship and then it fizzles, it's like, okay, now we're kind of settling in and this is what we do. But, after years and years and years, it's like with the same person, it's always on. There's no, it's almost bottomless. It's almost insatiable. I mean, really, the first time I probably experienced being insatiable for another person and just, it could be I could see his hands or the way he moves, or I could, if he's standing a certain way and that looks masculine to me. And I'm like, oh, fuck, all of a sudden my body is starting to react like it's like Pavlov, like a Pavlovian response. My heart rate's going up. I'm getting wet in my panties. I mean, I'm just like, just being around this person, it's electric all the time. It's really, really interesting. Like I said, I've never had anything quite like it, but I'm really glad I just, I started pushing my own boundaries and just putting things on the list that I thought I wanted to try, and started experimenting, because from there, once you start opening these little doors, it just keeps going and going and going. And there's so much to explore, and sex is so multidimensional. I always just encourage everybody, it doesn't matter which way you're inclined, you don't have to be super kinky, but just be open. And try different things and experiment and have fun with it, because it really is kind of just the stuff of life. I mean, I've had so much fun. I can't even, I got to write a book about this someday. Right. Like literally all the adventures I've had with just different people, great guys. And I've learned so much about myself through that too. It's really just been incredible. So
yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, I hear it when I listen to the podcast. And let's talk about some of those adventures. Like, what are some adventures you've had that you were like, I can't believe I'm doing this?
Like sex clubs.
Really?
Sex clubs. Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, let me give you I can give you 2 kind of spectrums to it. I mean, again, that's another area that you could just go to different sex clubs and you're going to get something different every time, or even the same sex club. And then they have a different theme and there's different people that show up. But I went to one where it was the first time I went, I went with a guy who was a lot of fun, and I saw him for quite a while. We're still really good friends. And by the way, most of these guys, like I either still see or I'm very good friends with. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's been really incredible. Like there's no, sour grapes or anything like that. And so I was all excited. Okay, we're gonna go to this. You know, it's my first like I want to go to a sex club. So he finds one, and we go, and it was totally not what I expected. It was,
What did you
we
expect?
roll up. I just thought that I was going to go to this grand, like palatial place. The way they described it, I thought I was going to this grand, like palatial home and,
Yeah.
like high in the hills, surrounded by all these big homes and, and it was just going to be very dark and moody and sexy.
Yeah.
Well, we end up like rolling up to the burbs, the
Whoa.
suburbs, where these people are having a sex party in their house, and like there's people with minivans right next door. It's like carpool people, and I'm going, we're in, we're just in normal middle America homeland, and these people are just, they had basically turned every room in their house into a room where you could go and have sex.
Yeah.
And do whatever you wanted. They had like covered things in plastic, and there was a like, what do you do when when you go to a party and you bring food, like a food line, like, what do you call that? Like with
like a serving line.
There were crock pots going, and I'm just like, with hot greasy food and like little cocktail weenies, and I'm thinking like, what? Who's gonna eat this greasy food and then go have sex?
Seriously, oh, I'm full. I
didn't have any of it. So anyway, so we go, and you go in, and then you're encouraged to wear sexy clothing and things like that. So I think it was winter time, right? So I had to have like a trench coat on, right? Because I couldn't just be walking through this neighborhood. Thank God, because I didn't know where we were going, but it was just regular old, soccer, filled with soccer moms and carpool moms and all this stuff.
Soccer mom sex club.
That's right. And so we get there, and so then I take the coat off, and I've got something kind of sexy, and you walk around. I'm with the guy I'm with, and it's basically just kind of, it's like it's a mixer. You mix and mingle, like, is anybody attractive? And then there had all these different rooms where different things were going on. There was like an orgy room. There was just a room where people were kind of sitting and music was playing. Oh, and they had some porno going on their big screen TV, and then people were just kind of making out. And then there was one room where there's just a bunch of people having sex. And so we kind of went in there, and I didn't feel comfortable just having sex in front of these people. I don't know why. But like I wasn't feeling it. Like the vibe just wasn't. It felt like there was a lot of people there that again, like I said, they're getting away from the kids, and like this is their one night to just let it rip, and they were, and good for them. I mean, I'm not condescending to it. I just didn't. I was like a little put off because it wasn't what I just was expecting. I think more of like a what was that movie with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman?
Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah.
Yes, I was expecting.
That's what I thought you were gonna say. Not the crock pot threw me off, honestly.
And cocktail weenies, and
that's like so weird.
Greasy chili. Like
what? Whoa!
Make you belch and fart.
Chili?
Why would do you eat that stuff before you have sex? No. No, because no, trust me, women don't want that. We're like, oh God, I hope something doesn't slip out, like
right.
So anyway, so what I ended up doing is what I was comfortable with is I was like, okay, I just gave him a blowjob, and and people were watching, so people could watch, you could just watch anybody. We're watching people. So, and it wasn't like you got like in the center of the room or anything like that. And you're like, okay, watch me. It's just anybody, you could just kind of plunk yourself down wherever you wanted and go for it. So we did. And once I started doing that, then I was like, once I felt people watching me, that's when the excitement kind of stepped in a little bit. That was when I got my first kind of inkling that, one of the things I didn't know about myself was that I like people to watch. It was the
Wow.
voyeuristic thing that I did find that hot. And I never knew. I never even thought like that would be sexy, but for some reason to me, it's very sexy. So we did that, and then we left and we were kind of just, laughing. It was fun. And he and I, he's the guy, if you listen to the Curious Girl Diaries, that guy's name is BE.
Yeah.
We were together for a while and had a lot of fun, did a lot of stuff, but he was a great guy. And he's the one that kind of sparked my interest initially in the voyeurism and things like that. And so we did that. Now, then the next time I did it, I was with my dominant and we went to an actual sex club. Like it's a club you register
Like a club,
for.
club. Yeah.
Club. And it was in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Well, I did a lot of travel. You gotta listen to the whole thing. It's like it's a full on, I mean, I've traveled all over. I've had so much fun with this. Really, it's a lot has come out of it. Not just everyone thinks it's just about sex, which it predominantly is, but it's about sex all over, all over the place, doing all kinds of fun things with really great guys, relationships and, guys that come and go and then, love and not liking some, I mean, just it's the full on, it has all the elements you'd expect.
Yeah.
And so we were in Louisiana and we went to this club and it was hot. It was erotic. It was on. We went into this one room and there's a lot of, just interesting, good looking people. And we went into this one room. It was kind of, the theme was, it was like an old sex, where men used to go to the rated, the films, the jack off in the theater, right? And watch the pornos or whatever. So we were in that room first and that was kind of fun. So I was, again, just giving him a blowjob and, everyone else is kind of around getting blowjobs or jacking off or doing whatever they're doing. And then we go into we went and looked at the other rooms. There was some just kind of orgy type rooms. And then we were so turned on because we're always turned on for each other that we just started sort of going at it in a hallway, and people all of a sudden started watching and coming in really close, like right next to me. Wow. And we were making out, and he had his fingers in me, and I was literally, I could feel all these, people around me getting turned on too, and like almost close to, like they could touch my shoulder. Yeah. But the thing with the clubs is you don't come into people's space. Everybody's very respectful. You don't just it's not like this free for all. You don't just grab somebody and snatch them and touch them. This is all, of course, permission based. So if you're there with a partner and unless you invite somebody and there's consent, nobody bothers you, but people, could be getting real close, like hoping like, okay, you gonna tag me in or what are you gonna do? And so there were all these guys and they were just like so close to us. And I mean, that was the second time where I was so just hyper turned on and like literally dripping. I've never been just dripping down to my high heels. I mean, we had gone out to dinner the night before. We were both dressed really nice, and or dinner that night, not the night before. We went out to dinner that night, and then we also got a room where we could have sex in this room, private room, and you can choose to leave the door open or not. So we had that open because I was just realizing I was totally getting off on the voyeurism thing, and this time, like this go round, it was big time. I was really, really excited and horny, and it was so much fun. So we did that and ended up going home and continuing, privately. But it was funny. And then the one thing though, was the funny thing about that night was that there's a person next to us in a room we could hear her, you can hear other people around you having sex,
Yeah.
which adds to it. I mean, all that sexual energy, everyone's getting, just adds to it. But we were turned on and we're doing our thing, but then listening to her, and then she would literally be like having an orgasm, and then it'd be, and then stop. And then the next thing is, yeah, so do you remember when we went to the library that one time? Like, she was just on or off, like,
Wow.
no joke. And we could hear her. And so we kind of started laughing. So it's like, really? and then they'd start up again and she'd have another one. And then it was like, yeah, I got to get my groceries. And I wanted to peel the curtain back and be like, hello,
Who are you? Yeah.
Can we keep it sexy, please? Like, can we keep the domestic stuff out? Like, you're killing my lady boner. Like,
she was just like, oh man, oh wow. You know what? What did I have to yesterday for
yeah,
this?
it was hilarious. Yeah, it was hilarious. So that's kind of like, there's a big and then, I mean, people, I haven't done this, I'd love to do this. They have big parties, like you go for the weekend, and it's like bunch of swingers, and they go and just do whatever they want to do, and all weekend long. And there's just a lot of stuff. There's just so many different, you name it, there's a kink for it. There's there's an avenue to explore. There's just something different to try. So
that's amazing, actually. I never heard of like the sex clubs things. It was interesting, like your two different experiences with it. One was like totally bizarro, and the other one is like feels like, but the food thing threw me off, honestly, because I was like, wait a minute, chili? Why chili? Like,
no, I'm not kidding. It was bubbling over. I was just like, the chili. Ooh, like it was like a chili cook-off. Like, what do you call a potluck? It was a
potluck. That's what it is.
It was a sex party potluck.
Oh, that's really weird.
No,
honestly.
I mean, to me, that like doesn't go together.
No.
Now looking back, that's a big indicator. Like, if I ever see something like that again, I'll be like, pass on that.
Yeah, you're gonna pass
pass on the potluck part.
No food, please. It was like more of that.
I will eat and digest well before I come. You know what I'm saying? Like,
literally.
Literally. Yeah. Literally and literally.
Literally and exactly. Now, was there an adventure where you were like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be like?
Oh, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be like. No, I can't say that. I think everything that I've done has probably been different. It just wasn't the way I foresaw it in my mind. And that's the fun part about it. I mean, that's what, I think that's what the Curious Girl Diaries and the Curious Girl, that person is all about. We all have that side of ourselves, right? If you could try things and we're free to experiment, what would you do? And then you start indulging in those things, and it always, for me, has not been what I expected, whether it was under par or over par. I've never been like right on, like, yep, that's what I thought. But it shouldn't be what I expect. If it was, I think if everything would have been as I expected it, I would have ended at year one.
Right.
But because I started to realize that there's just so much to do and explore.
Yeah.
Not to mention learning about all the different ways that all the different things that my body can do sexually and is capable of that I didn't even know, and all the different orgasms and all the different things that turn me on. And, I mean, I've been stuck in an orgasm, like this big, long rolling orgasm. I'm like, oh my God, like, when is this going to stop? That's a subspace kind of a thing when you get into your, the BDSM world, and just, where you have all these chemicals working in your body that feel almost like a drug. You're not on drugs. I don't do drugs, but it feels so weird and different and amazing. And it's none of it really has been what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, most definitely. Was the sex club one of the kind of stranger or kinkier ones, or was there something that was more wild and more out there that you experienced?
I mean, the sex clubs, yeah, those are fun. I think let's see, what is some of the wilder, like more, probably like just a lot of the, maybe some cliche stuff that's really, you think it won't be as fun as it is, but it is, like going someplace, and getting a hotel room where it's, because before I moved to Florida, I was in the Bay Area in California. And so, there's a lot of hotels, you get a room, go get a hotel room, and that's all glass. And again, I keep going back to the voyeurism thing. See, there's this theme,
That's
like
your thing.
it was running and I didn't even know it. That's the funny thing. Like, this is why documenting it's been so valuable, is that then I can go, oh, wait a minute. No, I mean, like, boop, it popped up there, it popped up there. But so I was with BE, and we got this hotel room, and he had like handcuffed me to the top of a door.
Yeah.
And then we opened up the glass. We opened up the shade, the big long shades, and was able to, during the day and like right at dusk, where it's, you can really see when someone has their lights on, like you can really see in.
Yeah.
And we were just right downtown, where there was still a lot of people working and also at home. And so it was like the perfect time for, I don't even know how many eyeballs were watching. And that was, again, that was just super erotic and super hot and fun. And I loved that.
It sounds like your thing, the voyeurism, like that's a recurring theme. I hear in this.
Well, I go, okay. Yes and no. I mean, it's for me, it's a big one, but nothing trumps, like, the BDSM, the when you're really with a dominant man and he knows how to touch your body, and it's very seductive, and there's always something different. I don't know that I cannot say really with my dominant that I where we've repeated something. Like, I don't know where he got his creativity, or where, how it was always, every time it was different. Like, I never knew what to expect. And because usually it was so driven by passion that you go with what's leading you in the moment, rather than, okay, this is what we always do. You get on top, okay, I'm going to go down on you. You're going to have an orgasm. Then you're going to get on top and maybe have one more. And then I'm going to put you in this position, and boom, 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 and I'm going to finish. Right. I mean, it's nothing like that. It's just, that's usually that's the kind of sex, I was used to having before. It was like, okay, we have our things, our go-tos, right? Because I know how you come and you know how I come. And so we just do that. And it becomes so like, and then sometimes you're like, well, we're on time frame. How fast can you suck my dick, get on top, and then flip me over and doggy,
Yeah.
I mean, like, can we do that in 10 minutes? Okay, good, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's not like going on an adventure with someone, you're really being led, and they're taking the reins, and you just get to be the recipient and feel all this fun stuff, and you just never know what's coming. And that newness, it's like, that's why I think you stay hot and passionate for each other, because it's just like there's always something different, it doesn't get mundane. So
I hear what you're saying, for sure. I think I listened to one episode where you had mentioned like the perfect amount of time for sex, or it's kind of a sexual experience. I want to say it was like an hour, you said, or so. I could be wrong about this.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I said, what I probably said was that I'm usually like I like to go. I mean, I don't mind to, don't get me wrong. Like I am all for a good quickie. There's certain things I love. I love shower sex, morning sex. So usually morning sex, if someone has to go to work, you're just like, you got to get it done fast. But generally speaking, when I have sex with someone, you're going over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cause it's, you're really like making it an experience. It's like a ride at Disneyland. You're just like, let's keep riding this ride. You're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the things I say about just really making, when you can make sex a priority in your life, you'll start to make the time for it. Just like you make time for other things. You can easily switch your focus and be like, okay, yes, sex, that's what I want to do. That's important. And and it just, I don't know. I think it keeps you young. It keeps you happy. It just does a lot. And it, and it builds this amazing connection with other, other human beings, or that one human being that you've chosen to be with, so I always get a little, I don't know, like it always bothers me a little bit when I know that when people have just let that side go and they're with the person that they want to spend the rest of their life with, but they're like, well, yeah, but the sex is just okay. And I'm like, but it doesn't just have to be just okay. Like,
True.
you don't have to have ground chuck every night. Like you guys can spice it up. I mean, like, there's so much you can do. And it just takes just shifting your thought just a little bit and remembering what it was about each other that first got you hot and, and sexy and, what got you guys linked up in the first place. Cause you had something, and kind of go back to that and then start exploring. But sometimes people, it's hard for them to express themselves sexually.
Right.
And they don't want to, they don't want to say, but I'm like, this is one area I think of people's lives where they really should just let it rip.
I agree. I totally agree. And, and clarifying this too, like you were saying over an hour, this includes for people listening to this and watching. I think I remember you saying this, but it's a lot of different things within that time frame. It's not just the actual intercourse aspect of it. There's a lot of things leading up to it.
Yeah.
Different aspects that encompass the time,
Yeah. A lot and a lot of flirting in between.
Yes.
A lot of buildup. I mean, this is why it's so much fun and you enjoy it, is because it's not, it's ongoing. I don't know who, I'm going to try to paraphrase. I don't know if are you familiar with Esther Perel?
Yeah.
Okay. So she was just saying like, intimacy starts after, like your last orgasm. And so after it's just a constant build. You're done having sex. Now you guys are going about your day. You're getting ready. You're shopping for your groceries. There's always opportunities and moments to be connected and push little buttons and spark each other and turn each other on. It's not always about, penis to vagina contact. It's all this stuff that you do in between. That's like building and, and getting the juices flowing. And so then when you do get that time, oh man, I mean, you're like, oh no, we're going to savor this. This is going to be extended. We're not just trying to like, okay, basically what I say is, masturbate on each other's body parts, and I think a lot of people, you get so routine about it. You're just kind of like masturbating on each other's body parts and there's no connectivity and excitement and, all the fun intimacy that goes along with it. So, yeah.
No, totally. I vibe with you on that. I think it's really important. It's a whole element to that, the lead up. And I think people get the wrong ideas. They think, oh my gosh, like just the actual act. I think of so much with that versus like there's other things that are part of it. Are you into like toys? Was it sex toys, things of that nature as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you were because I heard a couple episodes where I can't remember what you were
Yeah,
saying, but you
you
were
got
talking
it.
about something you bring with you. Like,
I I always take my toys with me. Yeah, wherever I
yeah,
go. I always do. I show up, I have like wherever I go, like to every encounter, I've got toys with me in tow.
yes,
Um, and I want to say today when we're done, I'm releasing another. You got to listen to the next episode that
yeah.
I have coming out. I think it's episode 203. I'm talking about because I've had everything. I moved right across the
Mm-hmm.
country, and I don't know where my coffee maker is at this moment, but I knew exactly where all my toys were. I set them aside so that I would have immediate accessibility to them. Like the first thing out of those pots, I'm like, there's my sex toys. Like, there they are. That was like, that's how I prioritize. So if it gives anybody an idea, like over my coffee maker, I still don't even know where the fuck it is. I haven't unboxed it
People
yet.
love coffee too, man.
Oh, so right, that's telling you, like you know how you love your coffee.
Yeah.
That was like the first thing I'm like about moving in was like, aren't you so glad to be? What's the best thing about having getting your stuff back? And I'm like, getting my sex toy so I can masturbate properly. Like
I just moved in. This needs to happen.
I just
Like,
moved in and I'm short. Like I hope this electrical panel can handle this.
oh my, yeah, exactly. I was the one of them. I can't remember the name of one of the toys you were saying, but I think you really
Hitachi.
Yatachi, yeah, and you really like this. I could tell like you really into using it.
Uh, every woman knows what Hitachi is. And if she doesn't, I will say when I started, I didn't. Okay. But I
Okay.
was late to the party. I was late to the
It's
party.
okay.
I'm not, there's no shame in my game. I don't mind saying this. Like, I did not know about the Hitachi magic wand. And I was still like thinking Mr. Bunny was the bomb. Well, no, I
Well,
mean,
Bunny, no.
I mean, he's still good. Don't get me wrong, but the Hitachi, like the nothing like that thing is crazy. So yeah, every woman should have one. You don't have to use it all the time, but
What do you like
But
about it? You say it's crazy. Like, what about it? I mean, I could tell like in the episodes you really like it, but like what do you like about it really that you say it's crazy?
it's just it's like there's the vibration, and because you plug it in,
Yeah.
like the ones with batteries and stuff, like their motors cannot produce that kind of
Yeah.
solid thumping.
You need some thumping going on there,
You
man.
need some solid thumping. Like
Solid thumping.
this is, I want to see. Actually, let me take that back. I would say the batteries, they're doing solid thumping. There's some,
Yeah.
but then when you plug into electricity with this thing, and the Hitachis are just known for they have a bigger motor, I guess. And oh my word, like it's the Ferrari of vibrators.
This is like top shelf. This is,
It's totally top shelf. Yeah, you want that. So anyway,
You're
that and different, and the other thing I recommend to women is get a butt plug. And when it comes to dildos are like diamonds, size up.
size up.
Bigger can be better, because you want to, there's like, you should experience, you don't have to I'm not saying have big all the time,
Yeah.
but there's a different, and I didn't know this either myself, like there's just a different feeling you get when you're fully like stuffed.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it, like
You're saying
when,
it.
when you really are, every crevice is stretched a little bit. These are different sensations. And that's where I was just like, holy smokes, I have an A spot, and now I can really get at my G spot, and it's not so hard, because usually that's all these things are kind of a mystery.
Right.
And now I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to get that. And then, but it's almost like for women, I think when you experiment and play around a little bit for yourself, then you are able to take that back with your partner, and you're like, okay, okay, we're going to do this. Like now
Yeah.
I know, like, you're going to do this, you're going to hit this angle. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're doing it with your partner, which is the best. I mean, that's really ultimately how you want to do it.
Right.
Right. Not just by yourself, but anyway, so yeah, you got to get that experience. You need to be able to learn what's going on in there. That's why I think vaginas are so fascinating. I feel like vagina owners, I'm sorry, I know penis owners are like, no, penises are great. They are
Penis
great.
owners.
But vagina owners, we can do so much. There's so much going on in there.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like we can come so many different ways. It's
Right.
fantastic. So
Do you ever get like disappointed in certain penis owners if their penis is not, the size you'd like it to be?
no, I'm not a size queen, but as long as penis owners can get their penis hard, I'm going with the owner's theme here.
I like the owner's theme. I like the penis owners. Yeah.
Penis owners. As long as penis owners can get their penises hard, we're good. No, it's actually not for me. It's not so much about the size as it is just the blood flow. As long as you're getting the blood flow, you're good. I think most women would say the same. I think that's why I think women really should masturbate. You should get toys. You should experiment. You should learn your body, because it's not, it's great when your partner teaches you something. That's fabulous. But, know what's going on with you and your little, and your inner workings. And then you take that knowledge to him and he brings his knowledge to you. And then boom, you're cooking with gas. But I feel like, if women, because sometimes they're shyer or they don't want to appear slutty or whatever, they won't get in there and really experiment. Or if they do, they don't want to express that or help their partner out with that, with how their body works. Help these guys out. Don't let them, just don't let these penis owners flail.
Help the penis owners out. Come flail. There's some words happening.
There's some t-shirts in here.
I mean, there's like a lot
of buzzwords here.
You feel that like there's literally so many terms in here, like we've been throwing around. Don't let the penis flail.
Yeah, don't let the penis flail. Come on, like that.
Come on, don't let the penis owners flail.
No. There's we could really play. There's a lot we could do with that. There's endless little quotes we could pull out of that.
I think so.
But I just, I feel like I hear a lot from men and women, of course, listeners. And, a lot of times it's just about, I think about there's a lack of communication and just really being comfortable even with yourself, by yourself, sexually, as a female. Because I think guys have been jacking off since they first got boners, right? I mean,
no doubt.
Their penis owners are proud. They're penis proud. I mean, they really do.
Penis proud. That's another one.
Penis owners are proud. They're proud people.
Yeah. They're proud. Say it loud. Penis owners are proud.
They are. I mean, but vagina owners just tend to be a little more reserved and shy when it comes to that stuff. I don't, it's like for some reason they didn't, they're like, when we were little girls, we were like, hey, guess what? I got a vagina. What did you get?
What did you get? I got a penis.
But they're not, but they're not saying, when girls aren't as like interested. It's like, I feel like boys, little boys, and then big boys, you're all still very like proud and interested in your penises. And that's great. No, that's great. Like we should, your penis proud. We should be vajayjay proud.
That's definitely a shirt. Vajayjay proud.
Vajayjay proud.
Man, I see like a shirt and it's that, and it has like an American flag on the side, And then it has like,
Darian, we're on to something. We're
you
on
might
to
be onto
something.
something here,
You heard
man.
it right here. Nobody else can take this. This is
No,
where
no.
we hatched this idea right here, right
Seriously, that's the magic of talking to people, Layla. You don't know,
now.
and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute, you know,
Boom. I'm a
boom.
penis owner and I'm penis
I'm
proud.
penis proud. I think, I don't think you get much pushback on that. Be like, yeah, that's probably true.
No,
I'm
I
like,
mean, am I like, I'm not, is there a guy that's be like, I'm not penis proud? No, he's proud.
I don't know. I don't know that person.
No, I know. I have never run across that guy either. So
yeah, I don't know. But what's fun? It's interesting. I think about this time we're in, whereas like you see things like Instagram and stuff like that. And there's a lot of like, you see people in like, let's say you see women in like yoga pants and stuff like that, doing workouts and stuff. And it feels very sexual, but that person may not be very sexual at all, actually,
I wasn't.
Hmm.
I wasn't. I was that person in the yoga pants, working out, and I mean, I still am, but back then, like literally, I like to say this, like, it's like a taxi cab, like my light wasn't even on.
Yeah.
I was just oblivious. I had totally pushed that part of myself down, away, aside, however you want to term it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't even, like, my light wasn't on. I wasn't in that lane. And then once I turned it on, I was like, ooh, that's when I got vagina proud.
You were Uber, but you weren't picking up anybody. There were no riders.
I had no vibe. No, I wasn't vibing at all. Like literally, it was not on my radar. It may have been going on around me and I was just oblivious.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was just like, whoa, like, and I start every day. And sometimes like, it's weird because I can look at strangers and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm like, oh, because I'm just always, now I feel like this is what it's like to be a man. Like you're like, things will turn you on. Like you see something physically to your eyeballs that's hot and you're like, ooh, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like walking through the grocery store, like grabbing cheese or whatever, almond milk. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting turned on right now. I'm dripping through my yoga pants. I have a spot in my yoga pants right now. And it's because I'm turned on.
You go to the grocery store and you see Layla there. I mean,
look out.
Something's going on there.
Look out. If I put my eyeballs on you and you're hot, I'm going to like molest you with my eyes.
This produce section is producing, man.
That's right. Don't let me touch things.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she's like, man, this grapefruit. Wow, this grapefruit.
Yeah, no.
Wow, the tomatoes.
I don't know. This banana is nice and firm. It's the right firmness. This is how I like it. Okay.
She's just getting moist in the banana
cucumbers.
section.
Now cucumbers.
Zucchini. What's next?
Yeah. No, seriously.
Wow, that's pretty fun. Well, listen, thank you for giving me as much time as you've given me to just chat about all the things you're into. It's seriously, it's a awesome podcast. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts myself, even though I produce a podcast constantly. But I find that it's like, it keeps you interested because Layla's hilarious. Yeah, she's hilarious and she's very raw and uncut. I'm actually saying, listeners, she's been a little bit toned down on this one slightly from what I've heard.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's okay. But you got to check out Curious Girl Diaries. It's really excellent. And it's certainly an adventure. So thank you for being on.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. So just like you said, if anybody wants to go and listen, it's thecuriousgirldiaries.com. And from there, you can connect to all my social media. And also, if you like this episode, I always encourage people to leave me a voicemail. You can leave me a voicemail up to 5 minutes. You can ask me anything you want. I will answer you personally. And it's really fun to do. So go to the website and then on the right-hand side, there's a pink tab. Just leave me a voicemail and I will get back to you. And thank you so much for having me on. And maybe we'll do like a follow-up. Maybe we'll get a little more specific and and do another one. Or I think next I'm supposed to have you on.
Well, I'm happy to be on. What's funny is that's the whole goal of my podcast is I will talk about anything, pretty much anything. And I am not afraid to go there. And so I think it's good to just be open and free and express these things. We got to get this taboo away from these certain things in life.
Agreed.
We got to just talk about it. We got to stop making like, oh, I don't talk about that.
I know.
Like,
stop calling it a thingy and a woo woo
and a
all
woo
that.
woo.
It's a penis and a vagina. Which do you have?
And be proud. Be proud. Be for JJ and penis proud. Okay.
That's right.
We established that here.
I know. So I think next time we should have our themed shirts on.
Yeah, that would not be great if it like I have the penis owner. And I'll put penis owner and you put vagina owner, and then it'll be on the screen. It'll be amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's hey, there we go.
How great would that be?
Idea. That's our next one. There we go.
I want to be on your show for sure. I definitely. All right. Yeah.
Oh, you will. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Layla. And I'll be in touch with you. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Bye.